Hi everyone, welcome to the second session on NEET MDS 2024 counseling. We had run the first session a few days back with information on the institutes, courses, the different counselings, the quotas within the counselings. Yesterday we had the NEET MDS, the NEET MDS. Yesterday we had this, sorry, there was a minor interruption. Yesterday we had the NEET MDS results come up. Congratulations to all of you who have cracked it. And if you're looking at going with the counseling, this session and the previous session which is available on YouTube will be extremely helpful for you. In case you're looking at next year or if you're looking at you're not decided on whether to go ahead with this year counseling or not, we'll still suggest that you go through this entire set of 2 sessions that we are conducting, because it will give you an idea of what to look for, and that ZyNerd also has much of information on whether you will be getting or the chances of getting a preferred seat, so that you can follow at least during the process of counseling as to whether you have to register for the counseling or go ahead with the next year. Now we'll start with a brief recap of what we had done in the previous session. We had clearly split the seats into counselings and had shared information on which seats come under which counseling. So there is an all India counseling, one all India counseling for all the seats which are of central nature, and second a set of seats which come under each state counseling. Each state has one counseling, and the set of seats that come under each state counseling too we had discussed. So a brief recap: under all India counseling you have 50% of state government dental college seats, you have 50% of central university or institute seats. Both these sets come under all India quota, and other than that you have the deemed university seats. Every deemed university seat, except for the exception of 3 deemed universities, every deemed university seat comes under the all India counseling. This is under the quotas, management quota and the NRI quota. 85% of the deemed university seats come under the management quota and 15% come under the NRI quota. Beyond this, there are 2 institutes, one Jain and minority institute and one Muslim minority institute. Both of these have specific Jain minority and Muslim minority quotas for specific minority candidates. Now beyond these, there are central universities like DU, AMU and BHU which have MDS seats available, and these are available for those candidates who have passed out from these institutes with specific eligibility criteria. AFMS, Armed Forces Medical College Pune, also has MDS seats. The seats that are available under Armed Forces Medical College Pune are allotted through a direct counseling in AFMC Pune, but the registration has to be done through MCC, which is again the All India Counseling website. So this is what we discussed as far as All India Counseling is concerned. And for state counselings, we said that in the government medical colleges, government dental colleges in the state, 50% of MDS seats come under the state quota, and state-wise eligibility depends upon multiple factors. That is what we discussed in the last session. And among the state private institutes, around 200 plus institutes are private institutes in the state. So within each state, for those private institutes in that particular state, all the seats are allotted through the state counseling. So you have to look at the state counseling if you are interested in state private institute seats. The majority of seats, around 4,000 odd seats, come under 4,000 or 5,000 odd seats come under the state private institutes. And so if you're looking at those seats, you will have to look at the state counselings. For deemed universities, 32 deemed universities which we had listed down, you will be looking at the deemed university quotas under all India counseling, but for private institutes it's under the state counseling. This is what we discussed. We also said that you may be eligible for more than one state for state government quota. There are open seats which are available in certain states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and many other states which offer open seats, which means you independent of whether you are from Tamil Nadu or the respective state, Karnataka, you will be eligible for those seats in those states. So you look for these open seats in case you are looking for any seat across India in a private institute. So now in this session, we'll be getting into a little detail in terms of the process that will help you in managing the entire counseling. This will be a lot theoretical in terms of telling you how to approach the entire counseling. Practically implementing is is something that you will do over the next 5 to 6 months. The counseling is expected to start possibly in the month of August. So we will be looking at the timeline of August to October, unless there is a change this year where MDS counseling is separate. Now, whether that will happen or not, we don't know, but always be ready in case there is a change. But otherwise, the expectation is that August till October is when the counseling schedule is. Now, what do we need to do prior to that? How can I get ready for the entire process? That is what we are going to detail out in this session. First part is looking at possibilities and deciding the counselings to register for. So how do I look at the possibilities? What information do I have? The first information that I have is last year's data or previous 2 years data. So if you are looking at the previous 2 years data, it will give you an idea of what was possible for your rank in the previous 2 years. Forget the marks versus ranks deviations across years. Let us say you are ranked 10,000. What you need to look at is what was possible at rank 10,000 or around that rank range last year. That is what you need to look at. Whether there is a 30 marks difference between this year and that year, this year and the previous year, doesn't matter now, because if you are ranked 10,000, above you there are going to be 9,999 candidates. Last year, rank 10,000 had 9,999 candidates above him or her. So the right reference point is look at your exact rank of last year. Marks are not relevant from this timeline at all, unless you are an in-service candidate with incentives, etc. But otherwise, if you are not a service candidate, marks are not relevant at all going forward. Whatever your rank is today is what is relevant. Look at possibilities based on the rank first. For All India Counselling, just go to the All India Counselling allotments and look at possibilities for government, and in case you are interested in deemed seats, you're looking at deemed seats as well. After looking at the fee, etc., look at those possibilities. Second, for state counselings, each of the state counselings, if you belong to a particular state or you did your BDS in a particular state, look at the eligibility and look at the state government quota seats that were available. State government quota seats that are available might also include private institute seats in certain states at a lower fee structure. So look at that as well. Otherwise, look at the state private institute seats which come under the state counselling. So basically, after you complete the All India Counselling, also look at your state counselings and see the eligibility or options. Beyond that, you might also have options in other states. Other states usually do not allow candidates to appear for private institutes. For government institutes, you will be eligible only for private institutes, and these seats are called open seats. So if you are looking at, let us say, if you are from the state of Maharashtra and you are looking at other states, let us say Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, there might be a few seats which are available, which are open seats for you. And if you are looking at those seats, look at those counselings under which they are available. So this way, for your rank, if you are able to pull out information on what was available last year, that will give you a reference point. This is the first thing we would suggest you to start with. How do you look at that? It is not, when you are ranked 10,000, we would suggest a 20% deviation, plus or minus. Like start from 8,000, rank 8,000 till 12,000, and then go ahead with looking at information of what all was available between rank 8,000 and 12,000. This 20% is just a figure that we have come up with, not a statistically analyzed figure, but to give you a reference point to start with. If you want, you can still go ahead with 30% if you have enough time. But 20% is at least something that you can start with. Why do we do that? Because the first thing that you are going to do is, at the time of counselling, you will decide whether to register for a particular counselling based on possibilities, correct? So this will help you in that. Second, you will also list down your choices, right? Within a particular counselling, within All India Counselling, I'll have to list down my choices. When I list down my choices, let us say I'm between 8,000 and 12,000, I have got 40 choices I am interested in. I will have to list down them not based on where they closed last year alone. I will have to evaluate whether they fit me, whether I am interested in those choices, and in what order I am going to list down. So if you pick up those choices that were available from 8,000 to 12,000, if you are ranked 10,000, let us say, you will have an option of choices which you can evaluate. This gives you a limited list rather than going for every choice, right? From starting from whatever close from rank 200 till 20,000, you can at least start with a focused list which will be higher possibility for you, which will have a higher possibility of you being available for you. So we would suggest a 20% to start with. Do you have more time? Expand the range and go on to 30% plus or minus, like 7,000 to 13,000. Let us say you are rank 5,000. You still can go ahead with enlisting all choices which close from rank 1 to rank 5,000 and evaluate, or start with a range of 4,000 to 6,000 and then broaden your range of choices. We are going with last year's choices here, correct? We clearly mentioned that go with last year's data. It is available in ZyNerd. You can go to ZyNerd. Currently, we have opened up the All India Counseling closing ranks. You can just enter your rank range, your category, courses, etc. Category courses you are interested in. Immediately, you will be able to get all the list of choices that were available last year. Now, if you are going to correlate these possibilities, we would suggest this is only for evaluation, initial evaluation, and then the order will be based on your evaluation and what you think would fit you or what you are interested in. But the range of choices you can get in. We have spent so much time. I'm sure some of these have been repeated multiple times during the course. This will be repeated multiple times during the course of the session. That is because the emphasis is that use your next 4 to 5 months till the counseling starts for evaluation of choices, looking at possibilities so that you get the exact order. The day before the counseling, if you're going to list down, it will be based on somebody else's preference, whatever information somebody else gives you, and you might lose out on the right order. Second, factor in certain things like seat increase. Like last year, let us say there are these many seats, there might be an increase in seats. These will make a difference. Change in the category of seats. Some seats might have been under the SC category last year. There might have been only one seat in a particular institute in a particular specialty. It might have been under SC category last year. This year, it might move on to OBC category. So if you're looking at last 2 years reference, it need not necessarily be that it will be the seats will fall under the same category this year, because it is usually 1 or 2 seats and the category keeps changing every year based on the roster, which is maintained by MCC for All India Council. Same with states too. So factor in that. Don't be, even if you are a highest ranker, don't be, you can't be sure that you will get a particular seat unless that falls under your category or the set of categories that you are eligible for. So pick up multiple options. Second, single seat preferences would be there. We know of candidates who have taken up a peripheral institute course just because, even though they were toppers within rank 500, within rank 1000, a peripheral institute less preferred course because of family reasons or other considerations, etc. So just because a seat was taken up by someone at rank 500 or 1000 does not necessarily mean that that seat is a very good seat, or that will not be available for you because you are rank 5,000, 6,000. It might be a seat which is a single choice preference because of other consideration, and last year it might not have been available, this year it might be available. So take into account those factors as well. You have last 2 years data in ZyNerd for you to refer to so that these variations can be looked at in perspective. Don't limit choices, as in, let us say 8,000 to 10,000, I have 12,000, I'm ranked 10,000, I have taken up 8,000 to 12,000 and I have a list of 20 choices. I have evaluated them within 3-4 weeks. I am limiting it. I will definitely get those. Don't limit your choices. As much time as possible, expand your choices so that you have a broader range. In case there is a negative shift, or in case the preferences change this year, of candidates change this year towards a particular specialty, things might change. Usually there are not huge changes. You can go with last year's data, but still adding on choices and evaluating more will only help you, right? To have a backup, so that in case you are not able to get those choices, you still have the backup list of choices available which you have evaluated. Accommodate also for change in rules. We will come to know the rules of this year's counseling only before the counseling starts. ZyNerd will be updating all the, for all subscribers, we will be updating the entire list of rules, the regulations and changes in any rules, how to accommodate and strategize for those changes, etc. We'll be running exclusive videos. So you will be able to get that information as well from the documents or notifications that the respective counseling authorities share. And note that some states, like this registrations will start obviously in the month of July or beyond in August, but some states allow registrations only once before round 1. You think that there is a 15% chance of a seat in some state. You look at last year's data and you miss out registering because it costs you 3,000, 4,000 rupees. Later, if the seat is available for you at that rank, and if you think that seat is valuable, you will not be able to go back in certain states. If the seat is available in round 5 and there are very minimal competitors, you will not be able to go back to that because you did not register in round 1. Some states clearly have this policy. So be very sure, even if there is a minor chance, we always ask you to register, but it is your call. It is a cost versus possibility call, but we would always ask you to register. Being a crucial phase, having all options open is always good. You also look at the fees, stipend, bond and penalty for each of the seats. If it is a government seat versus a private seat or a deemed seat, fee is very crucial. Service bond and penalty is also very crucial for government seats. The bond penalty in case you don't serve the complete bond period. Evaluation of seats is also the next one, which is critical. We have been mentioning that you evaluate the seats over the next 3-4 months, but we will also let you know how to evaluate. ZyNerd doesn't evaluate the institutes as such and ranks it, but ZyNerd has a complete list of sorted order of institutes by closing ranks. So when you go in, you will find that this particular specialty in Lady Hardinge was the first to close over the last 2 years. You obviously will know that that is the first preferred institute, first preferred course over the last few years. So within the top 10, you will see that it is the same across many years. Similarly, at any rank range, you will see a list of institutes that are possible and a possible rank range. If you go to a particular state, you do not know the institutes in a particular state, then you can filter out on the institutes and instantly you will be able to see the sorted order of preferences of last year's candidates. But we don't evaluate, we haven't been able to evaluate institutes based on exact factors of academics or in terms of infra, equipments available, caseload, etc. So that is something you will have to directly do with the institute. We are trying to do our level best, but given the information, the factors change across different, the factors for you are not the same as the factors for somebody else. We might not be able to rank the institutes, but an already existing closing rank based sorted order is available in ZyNerd. We'll come to the certificates that are required. This is the time. The first thing is to evaluate institutes. Second, to get all your certificates ready. There are multiple certificates which might require 2 months or 3 months time period. So it is always better to look at the certificates now. Take some time, 1 or 2 days, look at the certificates, get everything ready, or start a process to get those certificates, and then you will be able, you can feel safe that you have got all the certificates for the counseling process. First, allotment letter is required. Allotment letter will be issued only after allotment. Don't need to worry about it. These are the certificates required for joining from the MCC portal, so that you are aware of it now. Second, admit card from NBE for the NEET MDS 2024 exam is required. You would have taken this to your exam, a copy to your exam. But after that, many of you might not have the actual hard copy with you, or the soft copy you downloaded where you affixed your photograph and took to the exam. That soft copy may not be available. Get that soft copy today from the portal. Take time, 10 minutes, get the soft copy today from the portal. It will be available in the nbe.edu.in login. Same way, the scorecard will be available on April 12th. Right? So it will be available on April 12th and you will be able to download the scorecard. The admit card, the scorecard, get them downloaded and keep it available with you during the, so that it will be helpful for the counseling. The reason we are mentioning this multiple times is within 3 months, just before the counseling, the NBE login for some strange reason will not work and you will not be able to get your admit card or scorecard at that point in time. Getting a PDF copy today is safe, get it done. Otherwise, you will have to follow a circuitous process of checking with NBE, writing a mail to them responding after 3 days, etc. That should not happen during the joining period. So get that done. So admit card, the scorecard or the results or rank letter will be available on April 12th. Both of them are available now. You can go ahead and get them. Mark sheets of BDS exams, get them. In case you're in the final year, it doesn't make a difference. You will get your certificates only at the later point in time. But the earlier year completion, your mark sheets, please get them done. Your degree certificate or provisional degree certificate is required. One of these should be available. Get the degree or provisional degree certificate. Internship completion certificate from the head of the institution or college. For those completing internship at a later point in time, there is a provisional internship certificate saying that you will be completing the internship by this date. That is also sufficient. But anyways, the classes start only in August 15, in the month of August, I guess. So by August, by July, even if the counseling starts, then by August you will have the entire joining happening. So by that time you will have other complete internship certificate or the internship certificate or the other certificates will also be available. Get them by that timeline. Permanent or provisional registration certificate, one of these is definitely required with your dental council, either your state dental council or the other councils, central councils. Get that done. SSC or higher secondary, say senior secondary school or higher secondary school or birth certificate needs to be taken for date of birth proof. So any one of these is fine. If you have those, that is sufficient. Aadhaar, voter ID, passport or license, you would have got this one of these for your examinations. Get that. And payment, you will have to take it through as DD, RTGS or NEFT. This depends upon the institute. You can decide at a later point in time. Passport size photographs, have them ready exactly as the ones that you used in your NEET MDS exam. Keep the soft copy at least so that you can take a printout, take a copy at a later point in time. As many passport size or postcard size photos as possible as required. For registrations, some of the state counseling authorities during registration for the state counseling will ask you for the same passport photo. So have the passport size photo soft copy that can be uploaded or might need to be sent to them in a form. Usually it is uploaded. All the processes are online now, and that is all. Always better get all the PDF copies in a Google Drive or an email. Send it to you through email. That will always be available for you in your email lifelong. So don't need to worry about that. Either in Google Drive or Gmail, all the scan copies or whatever is available. Most probably during registration for state counselings or in All India counselling, in case you need to send across anything, it will be a scan copy that is required. During the time of joining, originals might be required, but for all other processes prior to that, you might need only the scan copies. So scanning everything, getting everything in a Google Drive or sending it to you through multiple emails with attachments, that will help because you can always go back. Every year, a lot of candidates come back saying, I got it in a pen drive. I got my admit card in a pen drive. I don't know where the pen drive is. I got it in an old laptop. I gave it to someone else. It is not available. I did it in an internet center. I am not able to go back and check with them. They are not responding back, etc. So get these done. Whatever, at least the admit card and the scorecard. Other certificates, the other certificates that are required for all India joining, which is maybe based on applicability. Some of them, like category certificates, might be required. OBC category certificates are to be taken after April 1, 2024. If you are taking an OBC certificate after April 1, 2024, that will definitely be valid for this session. Anything taken before April 1, 2024, some institutes, Delhi University for instance, MAMC, etc., some institutes in Bihar, they rejected those certificates if you are an OBC candidate and you took a certificate which was taken before April 1, 2024. Even March 31st, 2024 issued certificates were rejected, as in basically last year. So always better to take the current financial year certificates, which will be based on the last 3 financial years income. Similarly, we have also done a session on OBC NCL. In case you want to go through that, you can go through that. For the last year, we will also be doing one for this year again. Similarly, for EWS certificates, it is always better, even though nothing is mentioned as far as EWS certificates are concerned in the either in the brochure or in the exam brochure or later in the counseling brochure for all India, nothing would be mentioned, but still it is always better to get one dated April 1, 2024 or later. But there are minor issues there in terms of 1 year validity, etc. Try to get one after April 1, 2024. PWD certificates. If you are a PWD candidate, there will be a window that is open before the counseling, at least 2 weeks before the counseling. You will have to take your government disability certificate, currently what you got from the government disability center in your district or from the medical officer from the concerned authority in your location, and all your IDs, which are UDID or other IDs, and the respective reports that you want to carry, and go ahead to 17 or 16 disability centers during the timeline provided by MCC to get a PWD certificate for All India counseling. So nothing to be done now, but get your certificates ready, and later 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the counseling, MCC will mention that you will need to go to the disability centers, and there will be an online portal that the particular doctor in the disability center or particular authority will open up and enter all your details of evaluation and get your printed certificates. You don't need to do anything online, but you will have to take all the certificates and you will have to be there during that timeline. Nothing to be done as far as currently till the notification is out. This is for the all India counseling. State counselings, they have their own process that they will intimate during the process of when the counseling starts. You can wait for that. And moreover, I'm sorry, sorry. So moreover, one more thing is the state counseling authorities might be okay with a government disability certificate, or they might have a separate process which the state counseling authorities do. One second. Yeah. So these are the certificates that are required. For NRIs, you might need to get the relevant certificates. NRIs might need to get a certificate from the embassy, etc. So those are available. We have done a separate session on NRIs. Just search for NRI ZyNerd in YouTube. You will get the list of certificates that are required. It is good that if you are able to get the certificates at the current stage itself. The certificates usually don't change across timelines, across different years. It is the same, but in case it is required at a later point in time, something else is required, you can add on, but currently at least get whatever was required at, in the previous year. NRI certificates, even if you get now, that those will be relevant and you can use them for the counseling in July. So when the counseling starts, August is when the joining starts. Counselings are expected to start in the month of July. Jain minority, Muslim minority certificates, you can get those if applicable. Bond submission, for bond submission at the time of joining, sureties might need to be given. In case you are joining an institute where there is a government institute where there is a bond, at times they will ask for a surety from government officers, etc. This can be managed later, but good to understand what is required, what is available, etc. We will be running sessions state-wise for the subscribers, and we'll be sharing information on what sureties are required for each state, so that you're at least ready, not with the bond, but at least on who will provide you surety. For in certain states like Punjab, there is a solvency certificate required. All those information we'll be sharing. In case you're looking at all India counseling across any state, this might be relevant, because for according to each state, you can be at least ready with the information. You have a lot of time, but still knowing the information will really help. Other certificates in state counselings, you usually have a gap certificate in Maharashtra, which we'll discuss at a later point in time. It is a simple affidavit, not pretty much difficult to get it. You will have to sign an affidavit with a notary. No other signature is required. And you have the BDS study certificate, your UG study certificate, bona fide certificate, attempt certificate, course completion certificates, conduct certificate, passing certificate, etc. These are a whole list of certificates which are different certificates, depends on the state, etc. As of now, if you are passing out from BDS this year, then it is not a problem. You will get all these certificates, and then once you complete the course. Even otherwise, you can go back to your institute, and at that point in time, the institutes will support in getting all these certificates. DCI recognition letter might be required in case you are joining an institute. Some institutes ask for a recognition letter of your BDS institute. Your BDS institute portal might have it, or you might have to go back to your institute to get that done. If you are applying for nativity based, like certain states allow eligibility for state quota based on nativity or domicile or residence or other criteria. So if that is in those states, you might be required to produce a nativity or a domicile certificate. This might take 1 month or so for you to get. In some states it takes 2 or 3 days. In some states it takes 1 month or so. Similarly, your caste category certificates might take a lot of time in certain states. So look at those certificates and be ready with those certificates as of now. When we run the state sessions, if you look at the list of certificates, we'll also list down every certificate that is required for that particular state counseling based on the quotas, etc. Then you can decide and look at those certificates. Continue to follow us. Bond completion certificates. If your state has a bond after your BDS, whether you have completed or not, a certificate has to be provided, so that only that makes you eligible for the state quota further, or subject to penalties you will be eligible. And service certificates, in case you are an in-service candidate. Some states, very few states have in-service seats. Seats specific for those candidates who are in the government service of the state. You can explore that, and if your state has an in-service seat, we'll also share the process with you, or the certificates with you. You can get to know those seats. Final one is on the evaluation of seats. So all that we discussed now is how to look at possibilities. This is a possible range. I have defined within that possible range a list of seats. Then I also looked at the certificates. Now within this possible range, I have listed down some 40-50 institutes which I might get. I am ranked 10,000. In our example, we looked at 8,000 to 12,000 and listed down some 50 seats which were available in All India counselling. Similarly, some 20 seats which were possible for me for my category in the state counselling. Now, within this list of 50 plus 20 seats, 70 seats, how am I going to order my preference? Get my order of preference. How am I going to order these seats is very crucial. How do you do that? By evaluating the seats. What are the factors that you need to consider? How you do that will and how much time you spend on that over the next few months will decide how good your final seat is going to be. Because after putting in all efforts, if your order of preference has a problem, then you end up getting a far lesser preferred seat, and you possibly will have you would have missed out a very good seat. So look at this, has to be done by self. Anybody else does that for you. Let us say you see a ranking online. It is purely based on previous year's preferences, which is also available in ZyNerd. Just go to ZyNerd, you pick up All India Counselling, select the state of, let us say you're looking at the state of Maharashtra. Select the state of Maharashtra, put in a particular specialty, filter out for general category. You will see in order of 2023 ranks, which ones closed first. You will clearly see which ones are preferred by candidates. You look at 2022, you will see that it is almost the same order in 2022. So 90% of these orders within a state for a particular specialty, you will be able to pull out. But still, that is somebody else's preference. To get to know your preference, we have some suggestions. You will have to evaluate it. Most likely, either your evaluations will be either from seniors, that is what we suggest, somebody who is working there, or somebody who is actually doing his or her PG in that institute. Start from the possibilities range. Within that, because that has the highest possibility, pick out that. And within that, if you still want to remove a few seats which you are not interested in and go with the rest of the seats, that's fine, because something that you're not interested in, obviously there's no point in evaluating. The rest of the specialties, you pick out a complete list, and you need to then go ahead with the evaluation. There are two factors here. One, trends. When you filter out, you will get the trends based on last year. But what your fitment is and what your preference is. I prefer this, I may not get this, might be a set of seats. I prefer this, I may get this, but I may not. This is not a career which might fit me. I still am in doubt about it, because it might be a preference. Note that it might be a preference, but my fitment to that, whether I'll have the skill to do that, I'm not sure. That is another bucket. I prefer these I definitely have the skill for this, and it is available. That is a third bucket. Within these, you will have to balance out on the order of preference. Without getting into these buckets, if you start evaluating and ask the right questions, it will automatically lead you to this. Like, always pick up a PG or a senior who's doing his or her course and start with these factors, the factors that we have listed over here. This is not a comprehensive list, but at least a list that will help you. One, specialty evaluation and prospects. You evaluate the specialty, look at the prospects in the future. For that seat in that particular institute, if you are talking to a PG, check with them on the academics, the type of cases, caseload, hands-on and chances, etc. And the institute and the bed count will also give you an idea. Feedback on the department is very important. Within the department, if there are multiple units, some departments might have multiple units, how is the feedback on the work environment and the culture within that unit also makes a difference. Faculty, the PGs, how many PGs are there? How are PGs continuing? Did PGs move out over the last few years after taking up a seat, etc. will give you more information. The shift pattern, if you are very much interested in looking at you have time related constraints, you might not be able to work long hours. The shift pattern, the number of PGs who might in total might also help you. If there is only one PG versus 3 PGs in that specialty in an institute, that difference makes a difference. In terms of chances, it might be an advantage for you. In terms of time required, it might be a disadvantage for you, or the other way around, depending upon what you want. So get that information. Pass percentages. Pass percentages usually are not exactly the right reflection of an institute's academics, but still, if the pass percentage is continuously 100% over the last many years, then that might give you a positive you give you an additional advantage in terms of, or information in terms of how good the institute is. Language, if you're going to a different state, check with a senior who is preferably from your state or who has a native language similar to you. Check with them on whether how much time it takes to accommodate or adjust or learn the particular language, how difficult it is to converse. Usually there is a lot of social media feedback, we'll come to that, saying that you will not be able to adjust in a different place, food is not right, this, that, etc. Take it with a bit of salt, we will come to that part. But if you ask a senior or a PG or a faculty who is from your place, you will get possibly the best feedback. Regional factors, food, travel, location concerns. In case the institute is a distant from a at a distance from an railway station, airport, how much time it takes for you to reach to your place in case you want to go back for holidays, leave, etc. Those also matter. Whether accommodation is available in the institute, in case you're going with your family, what kind of accommodation is available in the institute, outside the institute, PG residents, where do they stay, etc. That you can check. And service bond posting. After, if the institute has a service bond, you have to serve 1 year or 2 years after you complete your MDS, then where is the posting? Will I be posted within a medical, within a dental college? Will I be posted within other, other health centers, government hospitals, etc.? That also makes a difference. This you list down, take some time with each PG you are connecting with or the faculty you are connecting with, and get information. Also note that when you talk to a PG, they give their perspectives and their factors, the response to the factors will be based on what they feel and how they analyze it, how important it is for them. Your factors might be completely different. So the right type of questions will help you get the right answers. For instance, if you ask them if the department is toxic and they say yes. Now, toxicity is a word that has multiple sub-factors attached to it. Toxic might mean time-based issues for some people. I am working 16 hours, the department is very toxic. Toxic might mean not being treated with respect or being harassed for some people. Toxic might mean something else for somebody else. You might be okay with working long hours if you are able to learn, if you're interested in learning. Whether or not that is right depends upon the individual. So it is your call. So check, instead of checking on toxicity, check on the exact timings, or whether there is in case you're looking at harassment, etc., how is the work culture, etc., are questions that you can put up. Re-evaluate every social media feedback or aspirants feedback. Many groups, including ZyNerd, in ZyNerd's Telegram groups, we always try to manage this, because fellow aspirants, when they give feedback on a particular institute in a Telegram group where your identity is not necessarily known, whether you need to believe that or not is a call that you need to take. There have been always feedback coming in. Every year we try to stop this, intimate candidates, but still many candidates fall for it. There's always feedback to save preferred seats. I am a candidate, I am under fake ID, I come into a Telegram group, and as a group, I will be able to, as a group, I provide information about an institute which I want to join. And what will be the information that I provide? That the institute is not right or anything negative about the institute. So if you're going for social media feedback, asking a query in a Telegram group to fellow aspirants saying, is this institute good? That is not the right approach at all. The next 3 months, connecting with someone is the right approach. You will be able to connect when there are good candidates. Definitely there are a lot of candidates who support other candidates as well, very good candidates, but which one is the right feedback or which one is not the right feedback, you won't know. So what we always suggest is, when something is positive, okay, it might tend to be right, but when something is negative, definitely recheck. From social media, if you're getting a negative feedback, definitely recheck. Even when you're talking to another PG, when there is a lot of negative feedback continuously coming in, revalidate that through some other methods, either through passed out PGs or some other references or a second PG reference, etc., because there might be other dynamics which would make some PGs give you negative feedback as well, current postgraduates, etc. This is not to say that everybody would behave that way, but for you, right feedback needs to be taken. Be aware of these things that are happening, and always try to figure out some senior, even if it is not in the same specialty. If somebody is not in the same specialty, if somebody is working in the same, is doing his or her PG in the same college and is from your place or known to you through a proper reference, then you have higher trust, you will be able to trust them better. So go ahead with that. Relay to facts and not on opinions. Many people will give you their opinions. When you ask specific questions, then you get the right information. Like asking how many cases would be there in a week, the response might be there are a lot of cases. Instead, if you ask how many surgeries do you do on a particular day, or usually how many in terms of numbers, will it be 2 to 3 or 10 to 15? That is a question that if you put up, they will come up with the right numbers. You will have an idea of how it works. How many do you actually do in a week? Last week you did 2, is it? Oh, wonderful. If you put it that way, then they will come up with the right number, saying last week every 2 weeks I do 1 or 2 only, is something that might come up. So that ways you will be able to pull out the right information. Sequence and process of counselings. We will run the sequence and process of counselings. It is a very long session. We will run that in session 3 of this entire process. This is the most critical part of the entire session, because entire counselling process, because you will have to know between All India round 1, state round 1, All India round 2, state round 2, and so on. There is a proper sequence. Results when they are published. How do I manage these counselings in case I have an All India option and a state option? And this is very, very critical, because at some point in time there will be a decision making point where you will have to choose a seat and exit the counselling. When do I do that? Should I move on to multiple other counselings? And for not being stuck in a particular counselling or a seat because you did not understand the rule is something that you should not be doing through the counselling. So we will be taking you through the entire process. We will have a separate session on this. This itself will be a 40-45 minute session. What we would suggest is some of these initial sessions will be more theoretical in terms of telling you what it is, etc. Maybe a little boring too, but this is the information that will be helpful for you throughout the counselling process. If you go through these 1 or 2 times, then during the counselling process, any change you will be able to accommodate and do it and immediately change your strategy or decisions accordingly. So finally, surround yourself with positive people throughout. There will be a lot of complaints. This is not happening. MCC is doing this. State counsellings are doing this. This is counselling should not be like this. There will be a lot of flaws in the counselling. But right now, your mindset should be, instead of complaining, you either take that up properly, an issue properly, and represent to the authorities, or if you are not able to take that up, go ahead with the process with the right mindset. If you are surrounded with people who are completely filled with negativity, you will only end up making wrong choices. You will always feel that there is something lesser that I am getting. Instead of getting the best out of the current rule, you will end up getting something which is less preferred. So we always suggest go with an issue can always be taken up, but know that there will be flaws in the process now itself. Definitely there will be flaws. Every year there has been flaws in the process. You might not get a seat which is 100 that you 100% deserve, but you might get something which is far better too, or far lesser because of some process changes. How you accommodate to that is based on your mindset and how much you go through the rules and regulations, how good you are in terms of going through the rules and regulations and trying to strategize based on that. Go with rules mentioned by the authority. Those are the rules. Once the rules are published in a brochure, very limited chances of that changing. If it impacts you, it impacts you. It could have been better, but with the current set of rules, how do I proceed is what you need to go ahead with. Ignorance of rules, nobody will come back and give you any chance, just like law. So go ahead with that. Evaluate seats yourselves. Don't give it to give the entire outsource the job to someone to ask them to check with some candidate and give you information. You evaluate it with a postgraduate or a faculty of that institute. That is always good. We'll give you examples. Candidates have taken 3 months of travel, like you do a vacation, to different institutes that they might get based on the choices. 20 different institutes, they travel, go there, figure their out, because this is a career making decision. That has also happened. We are not asking you to do that, but know that it is to that extent candidates, aspirants put in efforts to get at least talking to a candidate is primarily required. Even if there is a ranking available in ZyNerd or somewhere else, you talking to a candidate will be the best evaluation option. Don't miss a choice that you wish to join at any point in time. No point in time, if you are going, decide prior itself that in case I get this year, I will join. Do not miss such a choice and at the end ruin that going to a lower ranker than you. They might take it and then they will leave it. Second, don't fill in an option that you will not join. If you're sure that you will not join, don't take that option and get confused at a later point in time. If you are wary, some options you might not know whether you will join or not. Those will happen. That should be limited to an extent. Not majority of the choices you should be very clear about. Decide choices well ahead. Use the time, and that will help you. In case there are any queries now on these, we'll take this up. Otherwise, we'll close the session. We'll come back with you with a detailed session on the sequence of counseling. This sequence of counseling sessions, we are skipping it now because it takes 40-45 minutes, and throughout the process of counseling, the maximum number of sessions that we do is on the rules and regulations of the counseling, because every other information is available in ZyNerd already. We'll be updating that. So since there are no queries, we'll take it up. In case you have any queries at a later point in time, in case while you're watching this video, put it under the comments. We'll answer the queries. We have a Telegram group as well. You can join the Telegram group. We have already started discussing and answering queries on the Telegram group too. Just hold on. Sorry for that interruption. So you can join the Telegram group. The link is in the description, available in the description. Join the Telegram group and you will be able to get all information, answer to queries in the Telegram group. Further, our subscriptions are also available for ZyNerd to look at all India information as of now. We'll be adding state level information, fees, stipend, bond, etc. at a later point in time in other subscriptions that we come up with. So all the best. Put in effort. This is a great step in your career. We hope that you get what you deserve or even better. All the best.